I can't see you yet. Hi, how's it
Yeah,
going?
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you well.
Wait, I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can
Are
hear
we
you now.
good? Yeah, perfect. Perfect. Yeah, you don't need headphones. I was just
Yeah,
introducing you to everyone. I was talking to them a little bit about what we do, and I also spoke about the kind of work you've done. But I'll let you take over.
yeah.
Can you talk to me about photography and how you got started?
Okay, so I'm actually a travel and spaces photographer, and I've been shooting professionally in the sense I've been making money off it since 4 years now. And it all started with I think in college when I went to Symbiosis to do an audio course, because I was so passionate about music. And then just going to the college, I realized that it's a 3 year course, and the end of the course is when they have like an audio module for like 2 weeks. And they had asked everybody to bring a camera, a DSLR camera, and then I just had some brilliant friends around me who were so obsessed with photography and film in general, and just like caught up to me, and I've been shooting since then. And that was 2013. And then in between those 3 years, one of my friends asked me, like, hey, you know what, you're decent enough in this. Like, why don't you do this as a living? And I was like, oh my God, like, I can actually do this as a living. The whole point of like going into the media was to like escape from engineering. So it was like, that's how I sort of got into photography. And then after college, I came to Bombay, and then I interned at, one of the dream places to work on, International Traveler. And that was my foray into like travel photography, and I've been shooting travel since then.
So let me actually ask you a little bit about that creative confidence to
Yeah.
leave engineering behind and pursue a vocation that's not,
Yeah.
I would say, not supported as much amongst by parents and by the society. Being a photographer right now is not considered a vocation that is sustainable over a long period of time. So how did you gather the
Yeah. Yeah.
creative confidence to be able to do that?
More than creative confidence, I just knew that I would be really happy if I wasn't, doing something I didn't love.
Right.
And for me, like, I am actually super lazy in general, but if I love something, I obsess and invest so much of my time into it. So I
Right.
didn't, like, when I realized, okay, you know what, I was so confused all of my, childhood. When I realized that this is what I wanted to do, then everything just became easy. So I think, you know, anybody who has their heart in something they want to do, they should just like jump and grab it, because it's not something that you do for 5 years or like 10 years. It's something you do for like your lifetime. So
Right.
if you don't have fun with it, then it's just going to be like really boring, I think. So so for me, I didn't think so much like, oh, I need to follow my heart. For me, it was just like, hey, I love this and I want to keep doing this. So that's simple as that. But
So
I
when was
understand
it?
that, I might get pressure from my family in the initial sort of like, what are you doing? Like, this is the
Right.
correct thing to do, all of that. But after a point, they were like, okay, you know what? Just let him be. He's having fun. He's happy. Just like he'll do good. And once they realized that, then I was also at peace. So yeah.
So when did you know for a fact that this could be a career you can make? When was the first commission you got, or when was the first piece of photography that you sold, or where you really get a claim? When did you know?
I think I think even I wasn't sure. So I remember when I was just starting all of this out, and my college wanted to do an internship, wanted me to do an internship. So I emailed all the places. I'm like, okay, you know what's the best out there? Can I crack it? And at that time, it was like Nat Geo Traveler, and I was so shocked. They were like, hey, do you want to like come intern with us? So that's when I realized that okay, they might be seeing something in this. So I think let's give it a shot. That's when I realized when I cracked that internship, and then I did a body of work over there that got picked up by BuzzFeed, and it just like went all over the place. That's when I knew, okay, you know what, this could work out. That specific point, yeah.
That's super cool. Can we now dive into some of your work? So I want to understand how you
Yeah,
sort of build something from scratch, a subject matter, how you get inspired. So I'm gonna switch the camera around. I'm gonna walk the
yeah, sure.
audience through a specific field of work that you've done. You can walk me through everything from the storytelling aspect of it to what each shot entails. Let me just get started.
Yeah, sure, sure. Yeah, let's start with the foraging one. I think, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
right. So,
Okay, do you want to show the whole thing first, and then we'll
sure.
quickly breeze through the whole thing so I can tell you what this is? Yeah. So this is actually a trip I took in Ladakh recently with one of the chefs from this restaurant called Mars. The whole concept is like farm to table. So it just breaks the whole thing quickly, like quickly, so that like people get an idea of what this is, and we can start with like singular imagery. So that's the entire shoot. Essentially, what it is like I went with Pratik and the team to Ladakh, and then the ingredients that we picked over there, we took it back to the restaurant, and did it for their anniversary menu. So it was one of the best, like it was such an amazing experience to do this with the entire team, and to actually like I've heard so much about like farm to table, but to see a team like going from Mars to like the borders of like India and Pakistan, and to like forage these ingredients and bring it back and doing some crazy things with it. It was like one of the best shoots I've ever had. Like creatively, just for the soul, everything. It was just like beautiful. So I think, yeah, I think that was lavender that we picked up from the place. You keep scrolling. So to build the idea, also like, okay, why are we there for? Like it's a road trip. We were going through bikes. Keep scrolling. So it is a mix of ingredient shots. It's a mix of like process, mix of portraiture. So to really, yeah, see that's a process picture. We took all of those ingredients in ice boxes all the way to Delhi and then Bombay, and that's Sebuckthorn. So this is like in the wilds. Can you go back? Okay, so this is actually Pratik talking to the local, like collecting all the information about stuff in that area. And I think that's also an important picture because it's not only you're just going and foraging.
Hi, sorry, I think we've had some connection issues. I'll just wait for him to rejoin. I'll keep scrolling through his work while he comes back, but as you can see, there's some fantastic. Hi, you're back. Sorry, I lost you in the middle.
Cool. Yes, so that's actually apricot juice, that was prepared. So Pratik is talking to different people, tasting different stuff, and he's essentially like going to the corners of the country and um, just experiencing life and bringing that back onto the restaurant. Yeah, can you just scroll down the whole batch of images? We can look it in a macro view. Yeah. Okay, great. This is, yeah. Okay, down. Yeah. So that's actually, I mean, that is the topography that it's two bikes. So Pratik and his team, and to really, when you look at travel specifically, that's why I love shooting it. No, it's not just landscape. It's portraits, it's landscape, it's food. It's a combination of all of these things. So that's very important, to somebody seeing. The work needs to feel like they're there, and that's essentially my job. If somebody feels like, hey, you know what, I want to book a flight and go there, possibly after all the coronavirus is over. So that's like Pratik talking to people in the market, and so it's a mix of all of this, and that's why I especially love shooting travel rather than being restricted to like one type of work,
Let me actually
So
challenge you on that, because I think some of the best work you've done is actually in terms of portraiture and people as well. I'm going to actually switch to your Kushti images. And can you talk me through
yes,
that
yes.
as well? Because I think that's something you're passionate about as well.
Okay. Yeah. So this is, I think this was done in 2016 before Dangal and everything released, and I was in Pune at that time in college, and this was during the end of the Naggio internship. I was looking for a subject matter that was visually super pleasing, and I was always in the search, and I think I got a lead from my friends in Pune saying, this is actually the oldest akhada in India. So I remember randomly popping in, and at that point, 5 years back, I didn't even know how to speak Hindi. So I took a friend along, and then, like, I remember just coming in, this beautiful light streaming. This was around 9 o'clock, and I just asked them, hey, you know what? I'm here for this purpose. I'm right now a student, but I'm intending to show this body of work in a magazine. Can I just shoot you guys? Like, I just want to be a fly on the wall. Just shoot this amazing, like light and the action, all of it. So, and that's how this came. I think we shot this for almost like 2-3 hours, and that's about it. And this body of work also went all over the place. And this was before all the Kushti movies released 5 years back. So, but to go back to your point of portraiture, yeah, that's what I love to shoot, because I feel like one of the privileges of doing a work like this is talking to people of like different profiles and different like streams of life, and that's why I love shooting portraiture, because I can talk to them, and it becomes a lot more fun. Like I learn a lot more from that process. Um,
Can we
and
talk a
these
little
guys
bit about
dedicated.
storytelling as well? So I'd love to know because obviously this is parts of India that is unexplored by most of us that live in Bombay, and this kind of gives us exposure, like you said, of us having been there, met these people, etc. The capturing
Yeah.
emotions on these people's faces. They're going to war basically. They're going to get. I mean, I can't even imagine being in a ring with one of these guys.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So at least my website, everything I try to actually storytell, even the sequencing of the images. So if you go to the macro view, actually. And there are multiple ways to like tell a story. But here, if you notice, I don't know if it'll actually come as landscape. No, the other one. If you notice, it's a sequence of like it's a sequence of images of people going to war. It is them prepping in. It's almost like a gladiator film. So first one is him in action. There are two people here. Okay, there are two people, and the third image actually is they're prepping themselves with the mud on them, and then they do a initial sort of round, and then it gets really like really intense after a point. Okay, this is still they're just still grooving into it, and then it goes intense. This guy like throws the other guy out in the next frame. So this is actually a sequential story of an entire fight. At least that's how I wanted to like place it.
can we talk about this one?
Oh, this was this actually, it was so interesting at some point. This is towards the end of the fight, and specifically, I love this image because it seems like it's blood dripping, but it's actually the sweat and the mud. So it is actually one of my favorite shots from the entire series, and I wanted to do something. Go back. Yeah. So it's actually a blur and out of focus, and I think I wanted to show a little bit of like motion also in the frames. If I were to shoot this entire subject right now, I might just shoot it in blurs because to show that intensity even further. But at that point, I think this was actually a mistake that I didn't put in the selection then. When I was looking through the folders now, I put it back up. But in terms of storytelling, it's actually a sequence, the entire sequence. Yeah, and this is the end, when he is going around and making sure the mud is like flat.
No, this is fantastic
Yeah.
because this actually is a great way to show that it's ended and the story is over, and it seems like a
Yeah.
cinematic ending to everything.
Yeah, I think it's also important, like, even when you shoot film, to like, what is the beginning, middle, and end? Even in photography, I think it's important to show the stages. You set the context when I was working at Manna Traveler, the opener was so important. The art director would be like, "Do you have the opener? Do you have the opener?" Like, she would stress so much. He would stress so much about this. Is either it's a horizontal image that says, okay, this is Rajasthan. It'll be a landscape image, or if it's, for example, if it's like a temple story, it would have a long shot of the temple and a macro of like flowers or something. So like images together make like brilliant connections.
Absolutely, one of my favorites as well. I just saw it like a few minutes ago before with you, and it's already one of my favorites. Let's actually talk a little
Yeah.
bit about some of your specific works. You're a photographer that's not active on Instagram. That's something I wanted to address as well.
Yeah, a lot of my friends are actually, posting messages on this, and I get a lot of flack from my friends for not following them on Instagram. I try to at max treat it as a work thing, and I feel like the algorithm just works in your favor so much that you try to make similar stuff, while you're on. It's a great space for inspiration, like Pinterest. If you know exactly what you want, you go to Pinterest. It's beautiful. It'll give you exactly what you want. But somebody like me who's still building their visual style and who's relatively new in this field, for me, I need to objectively be looking at like other forms of work, and that's one of the reasons why I'm on not like only recently have I started posting on Instagram, my own work. Everything's on the website, but I realized that it's a beautiful tool, okay? Like it's a beautiful tool, but I
Right.
just realized that I also like my time away from devices. So
Right.
it's a beautiful tool, but I use it especially not for engagement, but for like putting my work out there. Because I want to find my own visual style rather than if the kind of travel imagery, it's all the same on Instagram. It's so similar.
Right.
Even my inspirations, travel photography especially, were Frederick Lagrange, Tom Parker. They all have a distinct style, and they don't look from Instagram. They've honed their skills looking at photo books, reading so many things. So
Right.
I feel like we're all becoming so much more similar, not just in photography but in life. We're different, similar views,
Right.
and I try to just collect different viewpoints, not just in photography but also like in many other things. So
Yeah.
Instagram just gives you the same thing that you like, essentially.
It's a beautiful contradiction, and I would like to point that out. For being a photographer and not being so active on Instagram, which is sort of built for people,
Yeah,
technically built for people like you. After it's built for everyone else. I actually want
yeah,
to talk a little bit about the travel portion of your photography as well. We are now
yeah,
basically barred from traveling for we don't know how long. And being a travel
yeah,
photographer and being a food photographer,
yeah,
and I wouldn't say any sort
yeah,
of food photographer, you marry travel and food photography. This must be especially
yeah,
challenging for you, but also giving you
yeah,
the
yeah,
chance,
yeah,
like you
yeah,
said, to sort of explore your creativity. So, can we talk a little bit
yeah,
about
yeah.
that? This is a still under wraps project that you're doing currently during COVID.
Yeah,
Can we
yeah.
talk about
It's
your source of inspiration? And I'll just switch the camera over again, and you can walk us through this.
yeah. Yeah, this is actually, when I came to my hometown of Kerala, being a travel photographer, I didn't have anything to shoot. So, this is actually my father, and it's a series of pictures of him at home, and it's a developing body of work. Let's actually go from the picture one, so I can like guide you on like, okay, what is the thought process behind all of this? Okay, so again, like I said earlier, setting the context. Okay, straight up normal portrait. That this is who this story is about. So get that out of the way and then go forward. Yeah, again, go back. With this picture, what I wanted to convey was like him sort of like boxed in, compositionally. He is boxed in this time of Corona. So that's why I framed him. He was just sitting there. It just like creatively and technically also fit in the composition. And keep scrolling, keep scrolling. Yeah. And I think it's important to, I have never documented any of my family. My brother has two kids, and I haven't even taken many pictures of them. I just wanted to like really document my family, and I think this has given me inspiration to do it further, to really make portraits of people while they're healthy, and my dad's super healthy. So I wanted to not only document his portrait. Go back, go back. For example, like things that are valuable to him. Like I like if you just go on a macro view, I'll tell you how like I've tried to pick the storytelling aspect of the go down, go down, go down, 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 down. Okay, okay. So click on. Okay, do you see those two images? Okay, one is actually his shirt that's like in the dressing area of his bedroom, and then these clothes are also hanged in the house. So it makes a correlation, visually, and even his feet. Okay, go to the image of his feet. Okay, click on that. Click on that. Okay, so these two images, I don't know what it will be in the future. If it's going to be a book, it will look great together, like close feet and the shoes. So I'm just trying different like permutations and combinations of how to really approach the body of work. It's still in development. Honestly, it's something that I should have done long back. And I am so grateful that okay, this is the time to like actually build this. Like I don't want to call it body of work. It's just pictures of my dad that some pictures really age beautifully, and know for a fact that these age beautifully even after like 2 months. I
Right.
can only imagine what I would feel 5 years later. Like I might even cry looking at these. Like I don't know.
Right.
So, but if I didn't do body of work, I just would never be able to enjoy it.
Right. I also wanted to ask you. You've obviously chosen a reason for this to be all black and white. What was that? What was the reason behind that?
It's I think one to like sort of connect it together visually, the whole theme of it connected visually, and I think there is a like I said, these pictures. I want it to age beautifully, and there's no other medium than black and white to do that. It is timeless, For me, I think the best kind of pictures that I take are timeless. Even when you like look back. it shouldn't be set in 2020, and I wanted that. It could have been taken in like 1975, would have, still been relevant now. So, time is a huge theme that I want to focus going forward, and Bikramjit Bose was so good, and mostly black and white. It's
Right.
really timeless. So that's why
Fantastic.
it's black and white. Yeah,
So
yeah,
what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna post the link to your website on our bio as well. I feel like in these
yeah.
short 20 minutes we've been through a whole journey with you to Ladakh to doing Kushti to now to your hometown meeting your father as well. So this has been absolutely
Yeah, yeah,
fantastic.
yeah. Okay, man. Yeah, Umang, it was so nice to talk to you, man. Then,
Yeah, I know it was short, but I
uh,
think it was super fun. It was we got to know your creative process and a little bit of about your journey and your ability to capture emotion like no one I've seen in a long time.
yeah, and dude, thanks so much for talking to all these creatives and really making your co-working space a digital platform. It's a beautiful initiative, and I'm looking forward to all the other chats on the platform.
Yeah, I'd love to have you here once we do reopen.
I would love to. I don't know when I'm coming back to Bombay, but I love co-working spaces. Like, and yours looks beautiful. So hopefully in the near future, when things look brighter.
Yeah. Thanks so much again. Have a great day.
Okay, cheers, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
bye.
talk soon. Talk soon.